Oh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Bonjour Boners. Bonjour. Ha ha. Shika shika shika. Hi, welcome to Get Wood. It's your pal Jess. This is Get Wood brought to you by No Kings, A Cab Forever, and Self Love. Let's do it, shall we? Big Bird, Sesame, Big Minge Energy, Rata-ta-ta-ta. That's a 9 mil melody. Uh, Bam, and you say goddamn, this is a dope jam. I'm broad, I'm broad, I'm broader than Broadway. Yes, I'm broad. Hello, said I'm broad. Yes, said I'm broader than Broadway. And I'm a diddlin' myself, and it feels so good, you know. Your sauce will mix with ours and we'll make a good goulash burger. Oh yeah, what time is it? It's time for your favorite show of weekly stories and silly news from your pal Jess. It's Get Wood with your pal Jess Wood. Hi, that's me. How are you? I had a momentary uh trying a new space for the recording situation, and it just didn't work out. And I had to move. So I'm a little late on the get go. But because y'all listen to this whenever you want, because technology, I'm not going to be too worried about it. Now listen. I don't know how to straighten this thing out, but hopefully the background is such that you don't know that it's crooked. Although, hello. What a week, what a week, what a week, what a week, what a week. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, yeah. I mean, I work with everyone I work with is from a Latin country, a different Latin country. And so when I come in on the couple days that I do work, I'm blessed. I only work 2 days a week. It's 2 nights, but whatever. Blessed. Hello. I come in and of course, I'm like, hola, ¿cómo estás? How's the fam? Checking in because we're in such a situation. We have to be okay. Just more compassion, just remembering what's going on. I will talk about Dodgers and the Dodger Stadium situation on this episode because I feel very upset about, as I'm sure a lot of us do. Anyway, hi, it's Jess, your pal. Let's have a moment, shall we? I'm gonna turn my little light around. There you go. And I'm gonna get comfortable. Let's get comfortable. Have you breathed today? Have you breathed? Have you taken a breath? Because sometimes I just feel like I have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, whew, a breath. you know? So this show is hopefully here to cheer you, here to distract you a little bit from the week's madness. But I have my own madness, right? I mean, we all do a personal madness, and yet I think we all share in the madness. So, what I want to start with today is a very special story about Father's Day. And for those of you with fathers, for those of you without fathers, for those of you who are fathers, for those of you who have never been a father, don't want to be, or you do want to be, whatever your role is that may have something to do linked into the father's thing. I'm going to say right now, very complicated. Along with Mother's Day, it's not like it's a separate situation, but Mother's Day tends to be celebrated like, oh my God, my mom was everything, because unfortunately, a lot of ladies are left in a lurch. So, Father's Day, what Father's Day means to me. I feel like if I were a student, whoever was like a good student and did something like in class like that would be my oral report. What Father's Day means to me. And So a few Father's Days ago, it was before Father's Day that I was informed from my mom, rest in peace, Mama. Jesse, I don't know why you insist on telling this story every Father's Day. Because, Ma, it's important that I tell the story about me uh, standing up for myself, taking risks, having a scary thing going on, and still doing it. Okay, because I feel like if nothing else, this show hopefully promotes self love and challenges and doing stuff that we're scared of, and then feeling even better about ourselves afterwards. So here goes. Um, a few years ago, my mom told me that my dad was not my real dad. Well, she told me like this. She goes, Jesse, I had a dream. What are you, Okay, Martin Luther King. I had a dream that or someone had a dream about her. There was a dream involved. And so she said, now I think Bill is your real father. And I was like, who the fuck is Bill? And yes, Bill, it's a song and I do want to sing it, but don't mess with Bill. Don't mess with Bill. Don't mess with Bill. Do you want to go listen to that right now? Because I do. Uh, so she told me it was Bill. And I said to her, really? Because what about the dude Bryce that I thought also a B word, which is a trip, but Bryce wasn't his real name. If that's your real name, it wasn't his real name. And Ellen, her last name was also fake. So he had a first name that was fake. She had a last name that was fake. I grew up with a bunch of fakers. So it's no wonder my authenticity really means everything to me. Like, look, I even have wet hair because I had to take a shower before I started this, but it was getting so late that I was like, just get on there, girl. Lady, who you calling a girl? So I call up my dad. I'm doing air quotes if you're just an audio person, and who I call my maybe daddy. I'm like, that's just my maybe daddy. That's just my maybe daddy. So I call him on Father's Day because this is something that I've been doing since I'm a young girl, since I'm taught. And they moved away. He and my stepmother moved away when I was a young person in the 80s. They moved to Arizona. And so I had just been calling. I called twice a year. I called on his birthday and I called on Father's Day. So I call on Father's Day and I'm like, hey, happy Father's Day, dude. But also, would you happen to know about this real dad thing? Because Ellen said that maybe you weren't my real dad. What do you think of that? And I was like real gentle about it because it was Father's Day and I didn't want it to be, an attack feeling. But also, we didn't really talk any other time. So it was kind of my time. And so I figured I'd talk about it and I was gentle. Boy, he got pissed. He got pissed and he said, do you want a list of all the men your mother was fucking when we were together? And I was like, and then not a great conversation after that. So we just kind of hung up after a couple minutes. We never lasted that long on the phone anyhow, because we were never really, I was never like daddy's girl. Uncomfortable. Anyway, and you can a mess for yourself. A mess? What a mess! You can attest. Everyone, we as Gen Xers, either you were abandoned or you were molested or all of the above. And so it's a very sad history for us poor Gen Xers. And then people want to blame us for not taking care of the planet. We're like, we were trying to eat, get through another day unharmed. Anywho, Shauna, getting back to the story. So I call him, he gets mad. Do you want a list of all the men your mother was fucking? And I'm like, and then we hang up and I go on a little hunt for the men that maybe the hunt for Red October of the men that maybe were my dad. And I meet Bill. Oh my God, I meet Bill. And Bill has been on the lam since I'm born, really, like 40 something years on the lam. And changed his name and nobody has his direct number. He's got like a secretary, air quotes again. And so Bill and I get to meet and he takes me out to lunch, Took me to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, by the way, and he was a raw fooder, which I thought was very sweet of him and very selfless. So I thought to myself, this guy seems nice. Also, he dealt coke to Richard Pryor, and I was like, can this guy be my dad, please? Because that would be amazing. Also, he pulled up in a Mercedes. We were on welfare. I took the bus most of my life growing up in LA. So, Mercedes, how do you do, Mercedes? So he takes me out to lunch. We do the swab in the car, like we're sitting in his Mercedes and we're swabbing a Q-tip and putting it in the DNA kit because he's not uptight like Bryce is about doing the test. He's like, let's do it. Who cares? I'll use a fake name because he can't use his real name because we want it. Okay, so we send away that test and it doesn't. He's not the guy, but he tells me this other guy that it might be, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm flabbergasted. So I try that guy, and that guy doesn't want to talk to me because he's had some situations with my mom, which are like, oh no, it was just a very inappropriate time. So I still don't have the DNA test. I still don't know who's the what. So I call back, the guy that I think Bryce, who I think it really is. And I'm like, do you have that list of men? Because you won't do a DNA test with me. And Bill did, but Bill's not my dad. So what can we do here? So he's all, no. So I'm like, okay. So then when he died last year, Bryce, I was at the funeral home because I flew out to Arizona to be with my stepmom to help her out. And we were at the funeral home and she's like doing the arrangements for the whatever. And cremation. And I go, hey, before we get, dust to dust and all that, can I get a clip of his hair? Because I really need the DNA. And like my stepmom looks at me because she didn't really love that I was asking those questions because she wants to believe that all's on the up and up and that she's been taking care of a girl that's actually her husband's real daughter because she hadn't been taking care of me for my whole fucking life. She was like the only one with the job. So I got the clip of hair. It's in a drawer. Yeah, I haven't tested it. You know why though? Because it's the paranoia from going to the DNAs. I guess my DNA is somewhere at a testing site with Bill's, the guy who I wanted to be my dad. But Bill died, my mom died, and my dad died. So really, does it matter? Nah. I was raised by the streets and I'm back in them, bitch. Not at all. I love you guys. And I appreciate you so much for being here and for listening and for sharing the show with your friends and for being so supportive and being so open about your own stuff and sharing with me a lot of your own I don't want to say issues, but shit, we all need tissues for our issues. So yeah, your little issues, your little bumps in the road and all that stuff. So I just want to say thank you. And I also want to say okay, so you know how I love to review something a week here? Every week I review some sort of thing I've watched. Well, I watched two things this week that I thought were just really interesting. I have to use the word interesting because the first one I watched, I can't believe I never saw it. Showgirls, the movie Showgirls, Elizabeth Berkley, Gina Gershon, and Kyle MacLachlan, and so much beef. Like, I can't even believe. You can't believe how much beef is in this movie. Like, I mean, God bless, but fucking A, who remembered that there was all kinds of poos just coming right, whoa! And the razor strip, the racing stripe, the little strip down the pubers was all that was happening. So it was like little, like real titties, like there was real titties on everybody because it was the 90s, and then a little like shaved beef. I mean, it was wow. Anyway, I don't know why that's the most thing that I got out of it. I think it's because I don't know if you guys know this, but I did work as a hostess, excuse me, at a place called the Paradise Club when I first moved to New York City because I had no experience doing anything really except for a retail and like a yogurt shop and like, you know what I mean? Just random shit that I did in LA. So when I got to New York, I thought, oh, I got to get a job. I got a job at a strip club called Paradise Lounge in Midtown. It no longer exists because it was trash. And it was a full nude and I was a hostess, so I wore like, tights, black tights, and a black leotard. It was very prude, if you will, comparatively to like what's happening right now. But when I went in for the interview, you had to go at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon to this club where it was Paradise Lounge. So, but in Midtown East, like in Koreatown. So it had blow up palm trees and blow up rafts and like tubes and, like beach scene, but all blow ups. And then like a weird cheesy screen in the back that had like a screen of a paradise. It was like jail. Have you ever gotten pictures from a guy in jail and he's got the the backdrop that he's like out in front of, like, sup girl, you and me, paradise. And that's what it reminded me of. Anyway, I go up on stage because all of us auditioning, it was a job interview. We're all up on stage and we're all in like tight shirts. That was like the call. It was like something tight on your top. It was because we weren't taking our clothes off because we weren't stripping, but we were hostesses. The hostesses saying, so tight top. So there was this little old man that was brought out to the stage, and he had like the arm of like this big Italian dude in a fucking how you doing tuxedo, how you doing fucking big gorilla. And he's got the old guy, and he brings the old guy up on stage, and the old guy looks at us just in the titty, like he's just titty height. And so he just looks at us and he walks down the line of girls and he's all, no, 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 yes, yes, no, yes. And God bless, I was one of the yes. So I get this job hostessing at I can't even stand it, at this place, and it's full nude. So they don't serve alcohol because it's full nude and there's like laws or something. Like, can you imagine people? You get fucked up drunk and then you're like, beaver to the face. And I don't know, is that how people get drunk? And so anyway, watching Showgirls really reminded me of that job that I had. And I did get fired actually in a night and a half. In a night and a half, I was fired from that job. And they said that I wasn't dancing with enough people. Because as a hostess, you served the juice to the men that were watching the strippers. And the juice was like $10 a juice. And you served it. And so the men were inevitably like, I don't know. And I'd be like, you want to go have a dance? And it was like, I don't want, they just want to grind on you. Like they're doing like a lap dance thingy, but I didn't want to grind on anybody. And I wasn't about to, no. So I didn't ask if they ever wanted to dance. I barely sold any juice. So on this night and a half, the one guy comes up to me, the big guy in the tuxedo, and he's like, excuse me, Jessica, there's a problem with you. You're not selling enough juice. You haven't had any dances. And I'm sorry. Listen, if you want to talk about it, I'm a very down to earth guy and you could talk to me about it. Here's my card. And he like gives me his card from the Paradise Lounge, Vinny, and I was like, thanks, Vinny, but I'm good. And I didn't even make enough money to get a cab home. I had to take the subway, even though of course I was changed. I wasn't wearing my leotard and tights. Albanale. So watching Showgirls was definitely a trip. I'll tell you about the other thing that I watched after I tell you about the Russian lady that I spoke with at Target. See how not Target, fuck Target, no Target. And also, oh my God, where I was, I just heard I can't be anymore. Listen to this heartbreaking situation. TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls, all the they're also really bad. I mean, listen, we knew corporations are bad, but that was my last bastion of like, if I wanted something new, you know what I mean? I got to look up Five Below and see what their practices are, because if Five Below is bad, I'm done. Even though I got this dress at a thrift shop. So thrift shops are always important to deal with. I got these snake earrings at a friend in Albuquerque, and the necklace, the goat on it, is from my friend Melissa. She made this. Are you kidding? So everything right now, it's all, yeah, Melissa, all the bracelets, Melissa, rings, independent people. I'm fucking killing it right now. Anyway, I went to TJ Maxx and I stopped in an aisle, sheets, pillows, whatever. I like to look at that kind of shit. And I'm feeling all the fabric. And this lady comes up to me, she goes, "Oh, you what you're feeling?" And I was like, "You mean like mentally, emotionally, or physically these sheets?" She goes, "No, no, no, these sheets." But it was good to try to get a Russian to laugh because it's a very tough laugh, that laugh. And so I got her to like giggle a little bit and I was like, "Ha." And then she goes, "Oh, it's not, you can't find the cotton." And I said, "You know what, lady? I can't even tell you. I have talked about this. Not only have I talked about this to my friends, I talked about this on a fucking podcast that I do. Where's the cotton? Where is the cotton? Like, you can't find cotton anymore." She goes, "I know. This is very much hotter than microfiber. They try to make it like, oh, it's so light. You can carry it home so easy." And I was like, "Is that the sell that you're getting? Like, I can carry my sheets home really easily?" Because I feel like they make it that they're like really thin and I don't know, they don't wrinkle. I don't fucking know what the microfiber thing is, but what I know is they had sparks coming off of them and static. The sparks were coming, and I didn't like seeing sparks like in my bed. Speaking about titties, don't put them sparks next to my titties. So it was hilarious talking sheet, talking sheet with Russians, baby. And then this other woman I was talking to, because I am a not born and bred New Yorker, but a born Jewish woman who was raised by yentas, which are the let's talk to anybody and everybody. And I have inherited it now. And it's like the progressive commercial, it's very hard not to get the people to be like their parents. I am sitting on the subway sometimes and I'm thinking to myself really hard. It's like a fucking mantra. I'm like, don't engage with those people. Stop trying to listen for a part that you could comment on. And sometimes I just can't help it. Like the other night, I was on my way to a show on Saturday night and I was going to Brooklyn to Greenpoint, where the Russian Polish, it's very much. So I go to Greenpoint and I'm getting on the train. And granted, I haven't really spoken to anybody all day. I didn't go to any of the protests because my show was in itself a protest. And that's real. Like, I hope if you're engaging in any kind of social community, local, hands-on, either like feeding or just showing up to hang around or helping or dropping off clothes or anything like that, you are also uh, pitching in and protesting. So just know this, you don't necessarily have to put your body outside, even though it's wonderful and it helps so much. And I'm so grateful for everyone who shows up. And I definitely have showed up a number of times, but this Saturday, that wasn't my day because I did have to go early into the Brooklyn. So I was getting on the train and there's very cute, very young, stop it, black kid, cute. It was the pants that got me. Like he had these like patchwork jeans that he had on. And I said, "Hey, I love your jeans. Did you make them? Because it's real DIY." And he goes, "No, oh my God, I wish I could make them." And then we started talking, but really I started talking. Let's be honest. I'm the one talking most of the time. So I chatted with him and we had a wonderful time. And he said to me, even during our chat, because I said, "You know what I think? I think," because I asked him, had he gone to a protest earlier? Because I hoped that he didn't. Because a lot of people, I think, who are non-white should stay away right now. It's extra, extra dangerous, more than usual, which it's always fucking dangerous. It always has been. And part of our issue with this fucking country is that we don't admit all of our fucking wrongs and the blood on our hands. And if you don't admit anything, you're never going to learn, and you don't, and you just repeat the fucking cycles. But you all know that because you're so smart and I love you so much. Anyway, I said to him, "This is a form of protest, us talking. I mean, they don't want us talking. They don't want us loving each other. They want us like fighting and thinking each other's the enemy." And he goes, "Yeah, I know." He said, "Thank you so much for the talk," because he goes, "I'm always open to talking, but really not a lot of people talk to me." And I go, "Fucking hate New York," and he laughed. But I was just doing that for a laugh because, a lot of things I do for a laugh. Are you having a laugh? All right, Dodgers. This is not a laughing matter. This is very fucking anger making, and it's again in goes totally in the same bag as the fucking America thing, because it is America, because it's this MAGA bullshit that they're trying to. And remember MAGA, Mexicans ain't going anywhere? That was my MAGA. Mexicans ain't going anywhere. That was my MAGA. Remember that MAGA? That's my MAGA. Because fuck these fuckers. First of all, Dodger Stadium, blood on their hands, all over their hands. Most of Los Angeles, most of the fucking it's the US of fucking, it's the United States of embarrassment. And it has been since we started, because we fucking claim to be some rebellious motherfuckers that didn't like where we were from. So we'll go to this like new land, even though it wasn't new. There was a bunch of people inhabiting it already, but we didn't care. We were like, look, these aren't people, these are animals. You know what I mean? And then we decided, oh, I'm gonna put my shit on their shit. This is a trauma unhealed. Yeah, this is a fucking trauma unhealed. You know, when you have all kinds of trauma and bullshit happening in your life, and then you fucking put it on somebody else, or you have a kid and you put it on if you haven't done the work, like I'm saying, this fucking country, I haven't done the work. Like a codependent girlfriend that keeps going after some guy that's not going to give her what the fuck she wants. That's what I'm saying. And continues to do but I'll cook so much he'll have to love me. Like, shut the fuck up. So anyway, Dodger Stadium has always had blood on their hands. They've always, they forcibly moved out a number of people to build Dodger Stadium, and a number of brown people to build Dodger Stadium, because the color lines had been built in LA so fucking solid, such solidity of color lines and class lines in Los Angeles, where certain people live over here and certain people live over there, because they weren't allowed to fucking get rent. They couldn't rent anywhere. They couldn't buy anywhere. So mostly Mexican people were shoved. And Los Angeles, really? In Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Santa Clarita, Santa Rosa, Santa Barbara, San Francisco. Are you fucking dense? You know what I mean? Anyway, so I get a little sweaty. So this woman, long story longer, this woman shows up at Dodger State, Dodger State, and she sings the national anthem in Spanish. And you're not invited back. You can't be invited back. You're never allowed here again. You just suck my fucking dick. So Mexican people weren't allowed to rent anywhere but East LA, way, way southeast LA. And now they're getting fucking gentrified again, like they did with Dodger Stadium. They're coming for all the other, and they've already gone through Echo Park, and they went through Silver Lake. I mean, go through there and see. Go watch Mi Vida Loca and see how different the fucking streets were back, just a few decades back. And now completely gentrified and wiped out everybody, just like they're doing all over the country. It's horrifying. I'm horrified. And I cannot leave you on this thought, because this is what I wanted to try to save you from, but I couldn't not talk about that. Okay, I couldn't. Okay, so let's look at my face. I'm going to pull my hair back. I'm going to show you my full fucking face. This is a big, big face. I do have a giant head, but my face is very large. And I want to just show you close up, because why? Because I have a very young coworker that I work with. He's 21 years old. I love him so much, Bradley, my baby boy. And once in a while, he'll be downtown with us. I used to work uptown with him, but he came downtown this Sunday to work with me. And we have a TV that usually shows sports for the bar where I work. It's a restaurant, but I work at the bar, and they have a TV behind me. So there's usually sports on, but sometimes there's those weird infomercials that just last too long, and they're horribly sad, and we're not hearing it anyway. It's just music. So I go and change the channel. So I changed the channel this Sunday to the Rock and Roll Circus, which is called the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus, baby. Rock and Roll Circus, Rolling Stones. And let me tell you something, Mick Jagger is about 20 something years old, and he's really doing it, man. And he's got like a cool hat on, and he's smiling, and he might be a little bit high, and there's girls everywhere, and he's just like singing and smiling. And my coworker, this 21-year-old boy, says to me, "Oh my God, you totally look like Mick Jagger." Excuse me, I know I have those moves like Jagger, but what? He said I look like Mick Jagger. And I was like, you know what? That is a fucking compliment. Are you kidding me? That is such a compliment, right? I mean, right? I mean, right? I mean, right? Hello, girls and boys. How are you doing? And any of you got a crush on me now, you're gonna be crushing on Mick Jagger as well. Because remember that Halloween I was with the pirate and I said to him, I want to be it was right after we had had sex and we were lying there and I was like, I want to be a dead celebrity for Halloween this year. Who should I be? And he looks at me and he looks at me and he looks me up and down and he goes, Tom Petty. And I was like, Tom Petty? I thought maybe a lady, but okay. And then I thought about it and I was like, sir, you just came on Tom Petty's tits, so that was a lot of fun. But then I was dead Tom Petty, and I have it up in my Instas if you want to go back and look at it. Speaking of Insta, they can suck my fucking butthole because they keep on censoring me. And I'm like, censoring what? Joy, laughter, fun, silliness, truth, honesty, authenticity. You're lost, guys. You're lost. Um, okay, I'll end with this. Just going a couple minutes over. Please, please, sir, may I have another? I wanted to speak on music just really fast and how healing music is for us and all of us humans and animals, plants, everything. The more they study uh, the effects of music on all of us, I love the plant music thing. Like if you sing to your plants, they really flourish. It's amazing, and I've been doing that, and they look unbelievable. So I really listen to an eclectic mix, and I know a lot of my friends do as well, and a lot of you listening do as well. And so I just wanted to say a big thanks to music. I love listening to my 50s station on Sirius XM because just like with watching Showgirls, and it reminding me of when I worked at the strip club, listening to oldies really brings back a lot of the memories of hanging out with cholos and how much fun we had. Like the music, there was rarely a song going when there was something bad happening. I mean, does that make sense? Like the most and it was like a soundtrack to our lives, especially when they would play a song or songs as it usually went at funerals. And it's very sad to think about children dying, especially in such violent ways that they did when we were all hanging around when we were teenagers. But the comfort that we found in the music that we listened to was just unbelievable. I mean, even just till today, if I listen to Hello Stranger, Barbara Lewis, I cry because it reminds me of standing, waiting to go up to the casket, the open casket. What the fuck, y'all? Anyway, don't end on that either, please. Okay. I do have one last thing to tell you. Because I have my little notes. I always sneak over to the little notes. So I don't know. Okay. Friday the 13th is not bad. And I think I've talked about this before, but I just want to end with saying this. Friday the 13th is like saying that women aren't sexual over 40. It's a lie that the society has told us to get us to make us feel down. Friday the 13th is a goddess celebration. Celebrate 13 is a celebration. Friday is a celebration. The goddess, the divine feminine, and it's really interesting to know the history of so many things that we have in our society that are set up to wipe out the divine feminine and the goddesses that are the strength and guidance that we need. So it is the year of the crone, my woo-woos, and I do hope that you understand what that means because I'm thrilled and I'm so happy to bring stories, kalmate, peace, love, and community to this. I did also watch, I know I'm going way over, but I'm 4 minutes. It's not way over. It's only 4 minutes, Jessica. Jessica. Okay. You know, when I get serious with myself, I call myself by the full name. So I'll end with this because it was enlightening and it was beautiful and brilliant. And she was very inspirational. And I know that I've evolved because I didn't have any anger, animosity, jealousy, upset watching it. It was a special on Hulu, a 2-part special called Call Me Alex, about the woman Alex Cooper who started Call Me Daddy, the podcast about sex. And it was really interesting to watch because she was so she is so technologically advanced and so focused on what she wanted to say, what she wanted to do. She had has her best friend as her producer and her writer and helping her come. I mean, they write together and they have a couple other people. And she's she's a zillennial, and she started on YouTube as a vlogger, and she really didn't know any other place that made her feel comfortable than in front of the camera because she grew up with a camera in the house, the the VHS, what are the double eight, the super eight, all the cameras. So she learned how to do it, learned how to utilize it. And it was just such an interesting and wonderful watch to see this woman um, showing up for other women and herself, really, and having this drive and this, oh God, competitiveness as well from having been in sports. She carried that on and in. And I really, really loved watching her story. And uh, I really would love to be a part of her network. She has developed a network that bigs up smaller voices doing what she's been doing, kind of, podcasting and YouTubing and stuff. And what I would love is to be picked up by her network because her network really caters to Gen Zs. And I think that we really need a Gen X person who can do that, and people often ask her, are you going to be the successor to Howard Stern, because Stern's contract is up at the end of the year and we don't know if he's going to continue. And she says, why do I have to be a successor to someone? Why can't I just be me? Why can't it just be me doing really well? You have to compare me to a man. I have, the vagina. So I feel like Howard's leaving. She's got this network. There's so much room and need for women and men. I have a lot of men listeners and watchers, and I love you guys. And I know mostly Gen X and older millennials are watching and listening, and we really relate. And I think it's really important to have a show that caters to that generation as well, or those generations as well, and where we can feel relaxed and can be ourselves, and we can, join together as a community like the Daddy Gang. But we're the boners. I have friends that I see in the streets and go out to lunch with, and they're like, Bonjour Boner. And it makes me feel so amazing. So thank you to everybody who's supporting, watching, listening, sharing, tagging my name. I just love you guys so much. And I'm way over now, so I better go. I love you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday. And you know what? If you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting anybody, you are killing it. Continue on and drink a lot of water. Love you. Bye. Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh. Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh.